Hi there, and welcome to lesson 2 in this video series 16 millimeter film hobby 101. And we're accompanied by my cat, Rivka, and she wants to be the center of attention today. Okay. Okay. In the Okay. In continuation of what we were talking about the last lesson about film reels, there's one thing I want to mention. What I did with that 100-foot reel with the rubber band around it, because I put more than film capacity, it's not really recommended that you do that. I only did it because that's just temporary. I plan on placing the film that's on it somewhere else. So that's just a temporary situation. And so I really don't recommend that anybody put more than what is maximum capacity on a reel. You're just asking for trouble. And especially with the rubber band like that, there's possibility that the rubber band can break, and then we have film spaghettied wherever it was or wherever you pick it up. Okay, now, that's one thing I wanted to mention. The other thing I wanted to mention was that when I mentioned about the student correcting her teacher, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. One of the great philosophers that I follow say that one of the best teachers for a teacher is a student, because a teacher can learn from his student just as much as a student can learn from his teacher. And so I mean it in a respectful way, not in a disrespectful way. So I wanted to make that clear. Okay, now to finish what I was talking about reels. Okay, now you'll see the difference between plastic and metal. Also, what I mentioned about metal is that one of the very common damages to a metal reel is rust and scratches. Depending upon how the reel is handled, that whether what kind of environment the reel is in, moisture can cause it to rust, and it really doesn't look all that great. But plastic, say a man's greatest invention, can be in almost any environment without any damage, and so you won't see any. Sometimes you might see discoloration. I think I've seen a few like that. But in general, plastic reels are superb and superior. So you'll get to see the difference, and you get to see my very favorite plier magic. Now, there's one other thing about reels, is that reels also come one of two ways: one-way reels or two-way reels. A one-way reel is a reel that can go on the spindle only one way. And the two-way reel, obviously, can go either way, depending upon where it is. So now, if you'll please hold up the 2,000-foot reel. Yeah. Now, hold it forward. Okay, no. Look closer a little bit, can you? Now you'll notice, what am I looking at? Okay, that is the side that enters the spindle. You see, it's squarish, okay, and with a notch, okay. That's always the side that you want to put toward the projector, or in this case, toward the projector arm. Now, another thing I also forgot to mention is I mentioned that this is my take-up reel. And this is the reel I choose to be my take-up reel. Now some may ask, what is a take-up reel? Why is it called a take-up reel? A take-up reel is a reel that takes up the film after it's been put through the projector. So that is always on the back end. Okay? So that takes up the film as it passes through the projector. That's why we call it a take-up reel. Now, if the reel that's on this spindle is a take-up reel, then what do we call the reel on the other arm? Actually, they're called arms, not spindles. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, that's the take-up arm, and that's the reel I choose for the take-up reel. So what is this arm called? And what is the reel we put on this arm called? It is called, obviously enough, the supply arm and the supply reel. And can you guess why? Can you guess why? Madison?
The supply.
Why is it called the supply reel?
Since the side that's supplying the film.
Very good. Very good. It's a film that supplies the film. It's a reel that supplies film for the projector. And that's why we call any reel or any film on this spindle the supply. And that is the take-up reel. Now, we showed you one side of the reel. Now, that's the side that goes toward the projector. Now, when you turn the reel around, thank you, very good. Now hold it close. You'll notice it is round. It is not square with a notch. It is round. And that is generally a safety measure, I believe, so that the reel cannot slide off. Well, not slide off, but I think that was the intention or something. I don't know why. But that is why this is called a one-way reel, because if you try to put that reel on with this side facing in, it will not go on. It will not go on the spindle. Actually, this metal piece here that is on the arm is called the spindle. This behind it, you see a pulley, or rather I think I should call it a pulley, I guess. Okay, then you have what's called a belt. That is the supply belt. Behind it, please press the supply belt. See, that's right, that's the supply belt. And this is the take-up belt. Back here, this black thing is the take-up belt. Okay? And it goes around the little pulley there. And the supply reel and spindle, the supply spindle has one too. And it's the belt that helps make the projector move. And it makes the reels turn. Okay. Now, another thing I mentioned was, when I was talking about Madison threading the projector, I said that she was feeding the film around the sprocket wheel. Actually, if I'm teaching you or teaching anybody, you go under the sprocket wheel, not around. And you go under what's called a loop spindle down there. And the loop spindle helps keep the bottom loop open. And if for some chance the loop, because of a snag or a broken sprocket hole or whatever, that causes you to lose the bottom loop, you give that a tap. You give this lever a tap. And yeah, give it a tap. Tap down. There you go. And that will correct the upper loop and the bottom loop. Should. Oh, and one other thing. When I mentioned about the upper loop in the first video, make it a good size. Well, that's subjective. It depends upon the projectionist, the person who feels what's big enough for him or her. Now, even though, as you'll notice, on the reverse lever, which that is, you'll notice the path of the film path written out. Now, that is a suggestion of the size of the loop. It just really suggests that's the size of loop. I prefer to go just on the upper, right at the top of the reverse lever as a good size. Anybody can have their own opinions, of course. And so also I want to point out that when you get around, I should say under the loop roller, I guess, what I call it, a loop, what I call it, loop, what? Can't remember. That's okay. Now, right after the loop roller, there's another roller next to the sound drum. Madison, please point the sound drum. Very good. That's the sound drum. And the roller next to it. Very good. Now, what you do is you feed the film between them. Okay, when you're threading a projector. So you push that lever out. Very good. And then you have to do two hands. So one hand pushes the roller out. The other hand feeds the film, very good, between that and the sound drum. Then here's where you go around. You go around the sound drum, around that roller, very good. And then above the sprocket teeth at the bottom, then so forth and so forth. You go under the projector. There is a roller, you may not have seen it. There's one roller under that part of the projector, and there's another roller on this part of the projector. And you go under, and there's a guide. You may have wondered what that is under the projector. That is simply a guide, and that guide keeps the film under the projector, so it doesn't slip out. Okay. It's sort of a curved, so it sort of curves. It curves like that. Okay. So, oh goodness. I'm not sure how much power we have left. I plugged the charger. Okay. But that's okay. But anyway, that for now is what I want to talk to you about to follow up on reels, the projector, and everything else. And in the next, I never got a chance to show you, this is a Plyomagic reel. This is my favorite reel, and you see how attractive it is. And now you can see it's a very, very attractive pattern. And on the reel itself, can you turn the reel a bit? No, turn it around. No. Just spin it. Keep going. Keep going a little more. Where is it? I don't see it. Flip it around. Maybe it's on the other side. Yeah, I think it's there. Let's see for a second. Let's see where it is. Yeah. Actually, if you hold it like that. Yeah. And on this gray reel, it's very hard to see, but you'll notice it's spelled out right there on the reel, Plyomagic. So if you never know what a Plyomagic is, this is Plyomagic, and it says right there on the reel. So anyway, this is Applier Magic. This is my very favorite reel, and you see it's how attractive it is. So that's this lesson, and in our next lesson, we will talk about replacing a projector bulb. And this is going to be very exciting for Madison. Yes, she's going to learn how to change a projector bulb when it burns out. So I hope you join us for that. Any questions, please put them in the comment. Please subscribe if you like this video, and come back and hope to see you again. And this is Madison, me, Jim Lifton, and please subscribe if you like this video. And we'll see you soon. Okay, bye.